Today we will be ranking the best Premier League midfielders. We've done goalies, we've done centre backs, we've done fullbacks. Now we're moving on to the mids. I do want to clarify as well, this does mean centre mid, cam, and CDM, alright? Now there is one card in here that is actually a right mid or a left mid as his base card, and as a hero, may as well just say it now. It is Park Ji-sung, right? He's a left mid or a right mid, and he can't actually play as a centre mid, but everyone uses him there, and that's his best position. He's the only exception. He will be counted as a midfielder for the sake of the video, but lots of the other like left mid, right mids that are pacey will be included within the attackers video, which will be the wingers and the strikers, which we will get out tomorrow, alright? Without further ado, boys, let's get into it. We have selected 25 of, in my opinion, the best Premier League midfielders. That does include heroes as well, and we are going to rank them. I do want to mention as well, we will be doing this behind the scenes. I'm not going to show you guys every time I do it because this would be a 50-minute long video. But what I'll be doing when I look for a good midfielder, obviously if you're looking for a good centre mid, you're going to want a nice well-rounded box-to-box, respectable in every stat. A cam, you'll want to look for good shooting, obviously good passing, dribbling. A CDM, you'll be wanting to look for good physical, so on and so forth. So what I'll be doing is I'll be looking at the card, I'll go on to Footbin, have a look at the meta stats that I want for that said player, but also we will be looking at play styles, something new that EA have added for EAFC 24, so the more play styles the better. So that is how I'm going to be deciding the final rank where I put that said player. Without further ado, boys, let's get into it. First up, we have got Thiago from Liverpool, getting a -2 from last year. He's not the fastest, he's got some nice dribbling, he's got a first touch playstyle plus, along with some other nice playstyles. So I'll say playstyles, dribbling are the only two good things or that really stand out with this card, right? The big issue with him is his pace and also his 70 stamina. Stamina is one of, if not the most important stat, especially for a box-to-box centre mid. And if you're going to want to use him in that box-to-box or number 8 type of role, which is where he's best, he's got 70 stamina. So good luck with that. I'm going to put him in average. He's lucky he's not a void. He would be a void if he didn't have play styles. I'm going to put him in average. He'd be usable, but he's just average, isn't he? Kevin De Bruyne, straight away, I can already tell you guys, he is going into the avoid. I'm just kidding. Of course he's going into elite. It's Kevin De Bruyne. This card as well, I love. I wouldn't use him as a CDM, but he can play as a box-to-box centre mid. He can play as a cam if you want. Whatever position you want to use him, you'll just put that certain chem style. Hunter for a cam, maybe an engine for a centre mid, maybe an engine for a cam as well. You can play like 3-4 different roles with this one card, and that is why I absolutely adore him. Need I say much more? Incredible play styles, well-rounded, just want to get his pace up a little bit, and it's an elite centre mid. Next up, we've got Casemiro, who is the exact opposite of what I just said. I feel like you wouldn't want to use this card as a box-to-box, nor would you want to use him, obviously, as a cam. I think he is going to be a CDM. He's a little bit slow, but going into tackles, he's going to be dangerous with some great physical stats. I'm going to go ahead and I'll put him into good. I think he'll be a good CDM. Defensive CDM, by the way. I'm not talking a box-to-box CDM. I'm talking a stay back CDM. Kovacic not looking incredible. He did drop below 70 pace. I will say the one stat that stands out for him is dribbling. He does have a pinged pass play style plus as well, and any player that's got a play style plus has got some usability about them 100%. Therefore, I will put him in the good tier just behind Casemiro. I think you really need to get that pace up. Next up is Thomas Partey, who is very similar to Casemiro in the sense you want to be using him as a stay back CDM. And he's got 5 more pace than Casemiro. I think he's got better passing, better dribbling. He does have less defensive and physical stats, but I still think he looks pretty good. I'll put him in the good tier. I'll still say Casemiro is a better option as a stay back DM simply because of Casemiro's defensive and physical stats, but I still think Partey is more than respectable. Now moving on, we have got Bruno Fernandes, and honestly, he's going into very good for me. I think he's very similar to De Bruyne in the fact he's versatile. You can play him as a cam, you can play him as a box-to-box centre mid, you can play him in the number 6, number 8 role. So in fact, I probably wouldn't want to play him in the number 6, but definitely can play the 8. Definitely can play the 10. I don't mind it whatsoever, but he's just not quite the De Bruyne level. Got some nice play styles about him as well. I think Bruno is very fitting for the very good category, which does lead us to Bernardo Silva, who is going straight up there with Bruno Fernandes into the very good. A small, agile, magician-like player. Probably would want to play him in the number 8, an attacking-minded centre mid role. James Maddison, a very good footballer in real life, but I don't think his EA card actually gives him justice, honestly. Like, he looks solid. I think the 84 rating is fair, but he's got a really awkward pace split. He's got, I think, 75 or 76 pace, something like that, but his acceleration is a lot lower than his sprint speed. He's pretty weak as well. I mean, he's definitely usable, but he's not a card that I'd necessarily be recommending for everyone to use. I know he did win Player of the Month, and whether EA actually give him a Player of the Month SBC, we'll have to wait and see. But I think his gold card would be an average. If he does get his Player of the Month and it does come out, then you could probably jump it up to good, maybe even very good, depending on the boost that is given. In fact, kind of looking back at this, I honestly, Maddison, I feel like I don't want to put him in average. I think I'm going to bump him up to good. Or I think I will bump him up to good. I actually flicked over to my foot bin and he was there, and I had a double take. I still think the pace split is awkward. He's very weak. I think 50 something strength. But if you get a hunter on him, he will go to around 80 pace. Kind of solves the pace split a little bit. I'll put him in a low end good. I think maybe average was a little bit too harsh for Maddison. But Martin Odegaard, on the other hand, Ala Capdino, I love this man as an Arsenal fan, alright? Now, Odegaard, and I'm going to put my bias aside, I'm still going to be putting him in the very good. He's obviously not quite as elite as De Bruyne, but he has got 6 playstyles along with the playstyle plus. So that is 7 playstyles altogether for Martin Odegaard, which is absolutely incredible. Amazing dribbling. He's a little bit on the weaker side, but he does have 5-star skills. To counter that though, only a 2-star weak foot. Obviously, we all know he's left-footed, so he's going to be very predictable, okay? If you're forced to him on his right foot, there's no point trying to shoot it because it probably will knock out a grandma in row Z. You do need it to be on his left foot. I think if you use this card correctly, like a number 8 as he plays in real life, more so the creator rather than someone that you'll be wanting to try get in lots of scoring positions with, I think he'll be a very good card. Next up is Joelinton, who as a centre mid, as a starting centre mid or a CDM, he looks very nice. I'm going to be putting him into the good tier. We'll put him over Maddison. We'll even put him over Thomas Partey, in my opinion. We'll even put him over Kovacic. I think Joelinton looks very good. He shouldn't be too expensive. He's not like, no stats that really are extraordinary. I think he's got nice physical, but nothing that really blows you away. But all of his stats are respectable. So as a midfielder, that is exactly what you want. Bentancur, honestly, the exact same case. Pretty well rounded. Maybe pace on a little bit of a lower side, with Bentancur, but still, you could get some good use out of him with the correct chemistry style. Next up, we have got Rodri, although one of the best midfielders in real life. In this game, he's very low pace, and I'm actually going to put him into a void, the first player in a void so far today. And you may be thinking, Thiago's got 5 more pace, how come he's an average and Rodri's in a void? Simply because Thiago's got good play styles. I mean, Rodri's got 1 playstyle plus, and that's a power shot playstyle, which although could be good for the role you want to play him in, which is the CDM role, not only will he turn like a truck, not only will he run very, very slow, but a power shot trait isn't really what you want, especially for a stay back CDM. It's also a pretty awkward position because you might not get in too much positions to actually get that power shot through with him. If it was some more nicer traits, defensive traits maybe, passing traits, then sure, he would probably have a case for average, but I will be putting him in a void. Now we have got Declan Rice, who is basically like a Rodri, not as good defensively and physical wise, but he is a little bit faster, and for that reason I will put him in the good tier. I think he'll be solid, definitely going to be better than average. I'll say I think he'll be solid. Next up is Szoboszlai, hopefully I'm saying that correctly, and his card actually looks really respectable. Whether you use him as a cam in the number 10 role, or maybe you use him a bit deeper in the number 8 role, he can definitely play both, and I'm going to put him at the very high end of good. Next up is his Liverpool teammate being McAllister. For me, he just goes straight into the average. He's a lot worse version of Szoboszlai basically. Szoboszlai's 4-star, 4-star, McAllister's 3-star, 3-star. I think Szoboszlai's got 5 or 6 traits, he's got 3 or 4. And other than that, McAllister just looks pretty bang average. Therefore, he makes the average tier. Someone who doesn't look average though, Tonali. Absolutely banging card. Whether you use him as a CDM or maybe even a box-to-box centre mid. He can play both of those roles, in my opinion, perfectly fine. Tonali looks very nice. Some cheeky little play styles come along with him as well, and I will put him into the very good tier. Enzo Fernandes, on the other hand, I still think is respectable, but definitely not on the same level as anyone in the very good tier. Definitely better than both McAllister and Thiago. I'm going to put Enzo Fernandes in the good tier, right behind Szoboszlai. I think he's well-rounded for a centre mid, but it's just averagely well-rounded, right? And if he didn't have the playstyles that he does have, in fact, Enzo Fernandes has got 7 playstyles, which is absolutely crazy. So although his stats look bang average, and say average tier, the fact he's got 7 playstyles will make him feel so much and play so much better in game, therefore we will bump him up to the good tier. Bruno Ramires honestly looks like his Newcastle teammate Tonali, but just a worse version. We'll go ahead and we'll put him into the good tier. Last gold player before we jump into the final players, which you may be able to see on the bottom of the screen, being the hero players. So we'll have some pretty high rankings coming up. But Matheus Nunes, the last gold player, looks respectable. He's got a couple nice stats above the in the 80s. I think he's nice, 6 foot tall. He is 3-star though. So if you are using him as the box-to-box role, he's definitely a little bit more limited. But I'll put him into the low tier of good. Now moving on to the big boys. I mean, some of these will be pretty obvious and not need me to explain, but Yaya Toure is going straight into the elite tier. In fact, going straight to the top of the elite tier. Although he's got high and medium work rates, it might be medium, but I know for a fact he's not got medium high, which is ideal for a CDM. He's still one of the players that you can definitely just play on stay back with the player instructions on stay back. It will overwrite the work rates. He can play as a DM, he can play as a centre mid, wherever you wish, Yaya Toure. Which does lead us on to Park Ji-sung, and he's who I referenced in the video. Obviously, he's a left mid or a right mid, and I don't think he can actually play an alt position in the midfield, but whether you start him out wide and play him as a centre mid in game, I feel like he's one of the players that I wanted to include because his best position is by far a centre mid, a box-to-box or a number 8 to be specific. For me, Park Ji-sung is going to be going in the very good tier. Joe Cole, a lot more of an attacking option. In fact, we've got 3 even very attacking options coming up. And that is going to be, first of all, Joe Cole, who you'd want to be using in the number 10 central attacking midfielder role. Maybe a right mid or a left mid if you're rocking a 4-4-2. For me, he'll be going into the very good tier. Tim Cahill, originally a striker, but he can play in the midfield as well, I believe Cam. He might be able to play as a centre mid as well, but do not count me on that. Once again, a player you'll be wanting to use in either the number 8 or the number 10 role. I don't think he's game changing, so I'm going to put him in the high end of good, just ahead of Szoboszlai. JJ Okocha, I'm really tossing up between elite and very good here. In fact, this is a very tough one. I think you could debate either or. Obviously, you'll be wanting to use him as a number 10 in the midfield or a very attacking role in the midfield. It's just his stamina's not the best, but he has got the 5-star skills. He has got the dribbling. He's got the pace. It's JJ Okocha. We're putting him into elite. It's close. Yeah, we're putting him into elite, and we will keep him there. And last, but most definitely not least, is a new hero added, and that is going to be Ramires. Now, this is the dynamic for his UCL hero. Obviously, I believe that's 87 rated. His normal hero will be either 85 or 86. But it'll still be elite. In fact, here we go. Shout out to easysbc.io, but this is what his normal hero card will look like. 88 pace, nice defending physical. I mean, just look at these stats, just so well-rounded. And I believe, I'm not sure what chem style I've put on it here. A shadow. So this is him with a shadow chemistry style, it looks like. This looks absolutely fantastic, doesn't he? Goes to 96 pace, 90 defending. He has got 78 strength, so you could even put an anchor on him as well if you wanted to. I think an anchor for a CDM actually makes more sense than a shadow does. But I mean, look at the state of this card. As a CDM, god damn! And with that, that is the best 25 Premier League midfielders ranked in EAFC 24. Let me know if there's any further questions. Check out my playlist if you want to see the goalkeepers, fullbacks, centre-backs. Obviously, we will be having this midfielders out when you're watching it now, of course, and we will be releasing the final part of the Premier League tier list, which will be attackers tomorrow. It's been your boy Davis, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.